what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the season finale of season 2. Wow. Wow.
It was a journey.
Nigga, we made it.
That is exactly how I felt. Wow. Sierra, like, you are a part of the second half of the season 2, so it's really, really good. You've been on a couple of episodes so far. How's it feel?
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
Just, like, it's not even the invitation been open. You know how I feel about you. We go back, we have history, high school and college. And lifetime, and that's what I mean at this point.
We're like first.
Yeah, so it's been a journey having you guys and Terry and Trent and Gus. Y'all been, Gus has been behind the camera every step of the way, but outside of that, he's been on a couple of shows, and then Trent came through part-time, and I appreciate that. And my dog, my woof woof. That's my dog Terry, who been rocking. So how's it been? Like, how's the journey been? How's watching it all go, the whole season?
I feel like a natural man.
I feel like it's second nature to you too. I feel like it just happens. So, I mean, what better way to end off this season by Trent? Like, you came up with like an awesome topic that I think that at this age it's time for us to like really address. Like, how all in all it's about, how we really get to an age where we have a list for ourselves, what kind of mate we want to be with for life. But we don't never consider our own self and what we bring to the table or may not bring to the table that may not be on somebody else's list. So we might not fit somebody else's perspective, even though we're so picky ourselves. But we don't really consider, is our preference prefer us? Does our preference really prefer us?
And that's a topic that a lot of people don't want to face.
Yeah. It's
always like good to point blame at like other people of them not accepting you for whatever reason. But like, a lot of people make demands and they don't ever consider the other person like that they're actually courting. Why would they want you? Why, like, what makes you appealing to them? So it's always a one-sided type of topic.
I agree, Trent. I really, really do. I think that that's a lot of the most times in the case, especially with people our age, we now get to this point of we be so fixated on ourselves and our own list and stuff that we don't even think and like consider like maybe what I do might not be something that somebody else fuck with or they really tolerate or they want to tolerate. Have y'all females ever thought about that? Because I know it's usually females who have like a list more so than guys. Not saying that guys don't have a list. But it's more so, like every female has like a type
requirements.
Of yeah.
I could agree. I think a lot of women do that, where they have like this imaginary person in their mind they think is the ideal partner, and for some reason you think you're just going to be like the perfect match for that person who probably doesn't even exist. And I think a lot of this ties into just not really knowing what you want. I think sometimes we think we know what we want, but we don't really know what we need.
Oh.
So,
that's it. And I'm so glad that you brought up that topic because we don't think about what we need ever. It's always like, want. Yeah. Like, I want this. I know I want to be with somebody that has money or somebody that has a job or somebody that I just... And that's always that. Like, and that's another thing. We put our stories above other people's stories. Like, I know what I deserve and I know that. But just say that this person hasn't just dealt with a mountain full of shit too. And what do they deserve? And do you think it's you? Do you think that you're, bringing your garbage or your junk to them, beneficial? How can that help? What about you, Terry?
It's interesting you brought that up because I never thought about it that way, like if the shoe was on the other foot or whatever. But I feel like now and like my older age, I feel like I want to know myself a little bit more, or take time out to get to know me and before I
jump into something, right?
Something serious with somebody.
I agree.
Right.
I've been saying that for the longest of times because when you get those questions of why you may be single or those kinds of things, and it's just kind of like, well, what if I'm just searching for myself right now? What if I'm trying to figure out what I want, who I like, or if I even want to be in a relationship now or later? Because I'm also not a person who has that time limit on love. Shit, if I find it at 50, I found it at 50. It sucks. But it's just I'm not going to be the person that's going to settle my life through being mediocre because I have somebody. You know what I mean? And that's why.
I think it's important to also, kind of don't be afraid to dip and dabble. I'm not saying trying to talk to every single person you see, but it is important to say, all right, look, I met this girl at the club. I'm going to talk to her. Maybe you met another one at Barnes and Noble. Maybe you met another one at the soup. You just want to see what works for you. I know... like for me, it was I had did that at one point in my life when I was single. I was like, all right, let me try different dabble on different avenues. Talked to a girl that was a nurse and she worked like crazy hours.
Right.
All right, do I like that? Talked to one girl, she was a bookworm, had like a 4.0 in college, and I wasn't that. So it was just like, oh, that's different, because I'm used to like, oh, the club scene,
right.
and these type of women. And then I settled with somebody who, when I realized the main thing that I wanted and needed was just somebody that I felt like I could have fun with.
Oh, yep.
And you can be, I don't care who you are outside, as long as I can have fun with you, I mean, that's really like my only preference. Like, I just need to be able to have fun with you, that and be a black woman. But those two things.
Oh, you have a preference. You have a type.
A black woman?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's broad.
I was about to say that's broad.
No, I'm not saying that it's a problem. I'm just saying because some people really are open. You know what I'm saying? Like open to love in a general.
And I
sense.
respect it. You know what I'm saying? I respect it. It's just for me personally.
I would prefer, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even prefer. That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going outside of that. Like I just think that like for me, there's just a lot of I just don't understand the conversation. But that's a whole other topic.
So speaking of preference, can I ask like the ladies a question? So like when you hear like a black man, it's like, oh well, I prefer someone exotic. I prefer him like light skin. I prefer him like. Not the black woman, sort of say, because it's usually like directed at like, pretty much I don't want a black woman. Right. Like how do y'all feel about?
Like I feel like I'm like us. Like I like black men. I never dated like any other race before, but I haven't did it before, so I don't know like what it would be like. I just know like I prefer dark skinned guys over like the light skinned ones. But it's like not to say like I won't have a good time with that light skinned guy or whatever like that. But it's like. If you don't dip and dip, it's like, how are you going to know, like, what you're interested in? And to piggyback off of that a little bit, I feel like we had this conversation a lot, like, not dibbling and dabbing, but maybe just, like, venturing off to something that you're not used to. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you, like, go to Barnes & Nobles or go to Happy Hour in Center City or wherever you are, you're not running in those same circles with these people who you are turning you off.
And that's when you realize what you need and not what you want.
Right.
Because you'll meet somebody that gives you something that you need, that's giving you that sustainability or that balance in you. That's important in relationships, that balance part.
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer both. So I'm gonna piggyback off of the different things. I talk about this a lot with like a lot of my girlfriends, and sometimes we think different is better, but different isn't always better. Sometimes it's just different.
That's all.
So, and I think that's another thing that ties back to, like, the preference thing, where it's just, like, I don't really care about what a person's preference is. It's just because it's different doesn't make it better. Mm. So, it's like, if you want a foreign Felicia, little Spanish mommy, that's cool, but don't be like, well, she's better than you because she's, whatever her ethnicity is. That's, like, my only issue. But, I mean, if you like Becky like you, y'all want to hug trees together, do y'all thing. Like, I don't really care about that, but it shouldn't be like, well, she's better than you because she was raised in the suburbs, or, well, you have locks and she has long blonde hair, so she's better than you. When it becomes on that type term, then it's just like, I can't deal with it. But preference, I mean, it's personal, it's a preference.
But I think that's the worst part, though, because, like, when people just say preference, they don't also say, like, what else they'll accept or allow. It's just like, this is just what I prefer, but I'm also open to dating people like that might not fit that same mold. So it's like usually the preference is just like, this is what I need and this is all I'm going to like accept. Mm-hmm. But 9 times out of 10, it's like, but I'll also like be willing to date this. I'll be willing to do that.
But that has that overall heading that we also give a lot more people credit than what they do. So a lot of times, you ever notice where people like stand on the outside looking at, like, oh, what I got to do to get that person, or well, how can I be down with that? But we don't personally take in what we can contribute to that, like, or we don't give ourselves enough, or we don't have enough confidence in ourselves to say, no, fuck all that. I am who I am, and I'm cool enough with that. If you don't like me for that, then oh well, that's on you. Like I mentioned this before. One of my favorite Lil Wayne lines is, "I fuck who I want and I fuck who I don't," because that's on some true shit. I don't never put myself in this box where it's just like, oh, I can't get you, or I can't get this. Like, no, if you ain't, floating my way or something like that, or saying the same interest in me that I'm showing in you, then I'm off of it, because I'm not doing that. I'm not downplaying myself either in the process. A lot of times we downplay ourselves and what we can bring or who we are as individuals, that to another person just because they might got it going on. Oh, do you think such and such might like me? Or this, that, and the third. Especially when it comes to female. Especially if you might see a female who is used to dating a baller. Or a nigga who's running money and you just like a nice guy, you got an education, you got this job, but she might not look your way because she wants somebody that can spend a couple bands. But you can't spend you can spend a couple hundred, maybe, but not a couple bands.
But I mean, I think that just goes back to a lot of our preferences being superficial, because do you really want somebody like that?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, is that really the type of person that you want?
And 9 times out of 10, when you see somebody's partner after they posted like their preferences, like it never matches.
It never matches.
It never matches.
Or it'd be like the most, like, if they do have a preference, it'd be like the most base model badge. Like, it'd just be like.
I want them to make.
And that's across the board. That's men and women.
That's
men and women. And it don't matter if men are, with women, women are with men, women are with women, men are with, it's all across the board. People are describing it to whatever. This is what they want, this is what they desire, and as soon as they post Bay is who?
Nothing like it.
Nothing like what you said, so it's so weird.
Yeah, that's what I said. Or it might be the standard, but as I said, it'll be the base model, where you might say, I want a chick that's bad. She bad, but she's a bum. Like, there's nothing up, she's a bum. Or I want a guy with money. He might got money, but he a nut. Like, it's just like, he not even the type of person you even entertain if he didn't have the money. So it's like, it's just really superficial, and I think we place a lot of value on the things that really don't matter.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's preferences are based around, like you said, superficial things that don't matter. And I think that, like, what a lot of people need to start doing is making it based off of, like, the more intrinsic qualities. Like, my preference, like for me, my preference is someone I can have fun with.
Yeah.
Like, that's important to me, because at the end of the day, it's like, if I can't have fun with you, I know I'm not going to be happy. Forget about what you look like. That is obviously that is important, but job, all the other, everyone has baggage. I'm a firm believer in that. So some people are like, oh, I can't date somebody with kids, or I can't date X, Y, and Z. My thought process
while
is
having kids already.
Everybody has baggage. I don't have no kids, but I know I got baggage.
That's where the problem comes though. So alright, so I'm one of those people that it depends on what your baggage is. So remember that show Jerry Springer used to host? It came on like the game show network. It was called Baggage.
Oh,
yeah. He was hosting like a game show that's not called Baggage.
Yeah.
And it was basically like you would go in blind, and it would see what baggage would be too much, because that's how I am kind of too. Like it's certain things that we know subconsciously, but we ain't taking on. We know we're not taking on. Like for some women, it's not about you having kids. It's about who you have your kids by. Yeah. If you got 3 different crazy ass baby moms, I'm not expecting a woman to have to take that shit on. Like, why would you? Why would you?
So to me, I don't look at like that's when you can change the word preferences to like non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, this is just like what I'm not allowing.
At all.
And that's why I was saying like preferences, like you'll say everything you want, but you will allow a bunch of shit. But non-negotiables, it's like that's where you set like your own terms. You set your standard.
But it's that fine. I keep saying, I hate saying this word thin line, but it is. It's like that thin line of difference though, because when you are attracted to a person, then that's where we start forgoing the little shit that you do, like to say that, like when I fuck with you heavy, all right, damn, you do got kids and a crazy ass baby,
but
all right,
that's
that thing, and then people like you look at it and you go, or the same thing with guys, they'll be like, damn, I know that you got like 4 kids and all these different dudes, or that you ghetto with shit a little bit, but I like it a little bit, but yeah. So it's like, and that's what I mean. It get on my nerves because that's why I try not to have those kind of feelings all the time, because of those little.
That's like a situation that I was like in. It was like, and this person like laid the law down, told me what it was. Like, I got X, Y, and Z going on with me. I'm letting you know now. You want to still pursue, blah, blah, blah. But I just like this 1 or 2 things about him, disregarding all the baggage he came with, and I just rolled it out with him, but I wasn't happy.
It was fun, but it wasn't sustainable.
Right.
Yeah, but I think like those situations, well, it takes a certain level of self-awareness and experience to know what not to deal with. But I mean, you can still use that situation for what it's worth, because I mean, I think that people who do have things that are non-negotiable are good for short-term situations.
Right.
So it's just like at the end of the day, it's not gonna be hard for me to let you go because I
That's what I'm
already
saying, I
know
don't
what you got
regret.
going on.
Yeah.
Nothing right.
But no, I'm saying, but experiencing it, you probably never do it again.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes you have to experience those things. So the next person that kind of pursues you with that situation is like, no, I'm cool.
But
Or
see,
you just gonna put it in a box, like.
But see, I don't think that's fair because it's like everybody's situation. All right, so let's just go with like, let's say,
My situation different.
let's
That's
just say,
something else.
let's just say like, you know, a guy approaches you, he got 2 kids, right? But he don't know how to handle his 2 kids. He don't really see his 2 kids, whatever the case may be. So now you're looking at that and you're like, I don't want to deal with that. So then the next guy that has 2 kids, what are you just going to automatically assume he's the same type?
Well, no, not saying that. I mean, in terms of like with children, my thing is like, I don't really mind people who have children. It's just like, are you able to balance me with them?
And that's where the problem
Wow,
comes
that,
from.
yo, and that was my thought that I was just about to go into because females, that's how it is. It's not even so much that you have children. It's the fact that here we go again with that line of you being a good father, but then spending time with me, the lack of time that we'll have. So it's like a part of me wants you to be a bad dad who don't see his kids because I want to have that time with you. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it's like that.
But when
It's
we
like
have kids,
that
I want you
feeling.
to
It's
be
like
like-
it's kind of like I really don't want like hopefully she can just take her kids and find her a new man and then you can see them when you see them.
Right.
Or it's just like but he a good damn dad. Like he love his kids. They always around.
But that's different. But that's what I mean about balance because I mean even a guy who always got his kids. All right, well. Well, I mean, I got my kids, but you want to go to the park with us this Saturday? You know,
But then you got some moms
something.
out here who's not ready for that.
Well, at the end
that's
of the
why
day,
I'll never knock a chick who like feels that way. Like, well, I don't want to mess with a man who has like more than 2 kids or like.
right.
Because like you just said, it's all about the balance. Like if you know that you're not going to get it, it might be different from situation to situation, but that doesn't mean you have to waste
And
your
you're
time to
not
find
a
out.
priority in that person's life as much as like time y'all spend, how much they tell you love you, like you gotta take care of home first, and like you know that, but it's just like a battle because
For me,
they don't have fucking time.
You gotta consider their
But it's
relationship
different though
and how
because
that
you
is.
might be different because I know some women out here that even like if you have to go to like your dad's new girlfriend and your child has the party, but when it comes down to the picture time, they saying, all right, mommy and daddy and the kids, and then it's kind of like, all right, girlfriend standing in the corner. But I'm saying, but a lot of people kind of have those feelings that's like standing on the sideline, where it's like you at the party, all the women's families there, or you know your man's family's there, so you kind of latching onto your man family because you the new girlfriend, or you there because you know 9 times out of 10 you can't bring your girlfriends. This ain't your kids' party, so you only here as a +1 with their dad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that feeling, and women be having those little tidbit of emotions when it comes to new niggas that they date, and especially when they good dads. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out, or even if they have like a good dynamic with the baby's mother. You know what I mean? Sometimes some women would prefer you to beef with the baby mom because they don't feel insecure about you having this relationship. I'm not saying that all women, but it's just some of those women that's kind of like...
That's factual. I've heard women say that, like, I want my dude to beef with his baby
mom.
So I know that she's not in the picture.
Right.
Which I think is very dumb. It's like,
it's very dumb.
If she come up and smack the shit out of you, then what you going to do?
Right. I think it's so
It's
stupid.
up after that, but I just feel like...
I mean, I feel you, but it's
It
like,
should be
why
stuck.
are you know what I'm saying? But why you're creating a beef
That's what
that
I'm
has
saying.
nothing to do with you,
Right.
and not a lot of times, you know, I don't have any kids, but a lot of times with baby mom, baby dad drama, the shit be stupid. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, now you inserted yourself in some stupid shit, and you got the shit smacked
Yeah,
out
see,
of
well,
you.
my thing is like, if they beefing with each other, that don't have nothing to do with
Exactly.
me. So it's like, whatever you got going on with your baby mom, that has nothing. That's not my problem. Like, you know, but.
Until she talk crazy.
Some people take that on. Some people choose not to.
But some people just like drama. Like I know a lot of girls who like being like, yeah, I'm the new girlfriend.
But not only that,
with the kids
some niggas like drama even more than women.
Or like
It's so crazy. It's so weird.
It's more messy.
Men are messier than men, and it's always
so many
like
people meeting your daughter or your son.
I'm gonna tell you this.
too much.
I'm gonna tell you this
Too much.
crazy ass story. My cousin, she got caught up in a situation with her nigga. He went through her phone, called the nigga that she got caught up with, and they went out. Took her phone, and they went through her phone together to go catch her in some more shit.
Niggas is weird.
What?
That's like, ain't that
What is
crazy?
the same girls going on?
Like,
I'll be too busy crying.
That's too
like,
much.
Like,
Yeah.
finding that to link up with
Yeah,
another
to link up
with the
Yeah.
nigga, took her phone with him. Here, right? She cheating on us,
Trying to
bro.
go play ball. Let's talk about t-shirts.
She cheating on us, cuz.
Let's go to lunch tomorrow. Let's review the text. Let's go
Exactly.
through
How we
it.
want to play
She sharing
this?
your location.
How you want to play this, bro?
Alright.
How we gonna spend this?
Alright.
So you go ahead and you gonna bring out the tray of macaroni. I'm gonna bring out
Yeah,
the water.
That's weird.
But so,
Mom
Very
too.
weird.
so when it comes
She
down to
did that
even
trick.
the last thing preferences. So when we here with it, I think that in this age, I always bring up age just because we're at a different, point now. We think differently. We've experienced things that are different, so you kind of know what you want. And I feel like I do have superficial standards at times here, so I do understand why people have them. I do. Sometimes it's hard to say it, but it's like it be those little ones that's kind of keeping you a little sane though. It's keeping you from falling back into your old habits. So sometimes you gotta get superficial standards because you like, man, I know if I keep my head held high with this one, then I ain't gonna go fall back into that same bullshit I just dragged myself out of. Because you said something, Tara, maybe it was Sierra, who said we go back into like these habits of like people. It's almost like a habit of going backwards where you just falling for the same type of person over and over and over again. And it's like, damn, why though? Like, why do we do that? Anybody got like a little answer?
Real quick, do you think
Comfortable.
that those superficial standards would like end up hurting you? Because
Yes.
because then
Yes.
you gonna run into the whole like, all right, let's say from a guy, right? Let's say I'll be like, oh, she gotta have a fat butt and crazy body and make 110, you know what I'm saying, a year. Now if I don't get that and my girlfriend makes 70K, got no body, but I love her. But I'm always gonna be thinking about, but what I really want is a fat butt and 110. And then that's not fair to her.
But I'm superficial in a
chance.
monetary way.
But you, like, not to like cut you off, but to piggyback off what he said, like, that's why a lot of people end up single. That's why a lot of people end up lonely. It's because like you're reaching for the stars,
And I'm not settling.
And people like make their words sound so bad. Like, no, do what makes you happy. Like, you don't always have to look for that girl who makes 110,000. 85.
But let me blow your mind.
85.
We technically all are settling though. We all technically are settling in this world. You want to know why? I was just about to say, because have you ever lived in South America? Have you ever lived in Africa? Have you ever lived in California? Have you ever lived in Arkansas? No, you live in Philadelphia. So you feel like at the end of the day, what if you haven't met your one and only somebody? What happens if your career takes off and you relocate to whatever, North Dakota or something? But I'm saying, what I'm just saying, but what if? Like, what if you're just saying that, and the next all of a sudden, it happens where that's where cheating and stuff comes involved because now you meet somebody that's showing you something.
You're not cheating with nobody in North Dakota.
Well, I'm not saying in North Dakota,
I
but I'm just bringing it up.
I think it all comes down to like maturity, and I just feel like you have to grow up, like dealing with certain people. Like even me, like at this point, I'm 30. I don't have kids, 2 degrees, whoop-de-whoop, all that kind of stuff. It's like, of course, my standard would be somebody who could match that. But realistically, like as a black woman with those things, it's very difficult to find somebody to match you. So just because a person can't match you, it doesn't make them like less than you. So it's like some of the things that you did value or that you thought would, your partner needed to have. Sometimes you gotta go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, well, maybe he doesn't have those things, but he makes me happy. You know what I mean? He might not be able to do everything I want him to do, but I mean, he don't need me to take care of him. So okay, cool. Maybe I can. It's like just being realistic, and I think
the thing
sometimes
people forget about. Like people always think like you're going to live till you're 100. Like you can check tomorrow. Not to be that dude, but like find somebody who makes you happy.
But nowhere in the book did it say that you have to be in love,
bro. But people be reaching for the stars. Like they'll have somebody in front of them,
and
it's
I
like,
agree.
And then especially with a person you want don't want you. So it's
That's
like
true.
you like going, you want the Instagram baddie, and it's just like you would have saved this free food in that girl phone. Like, she don't want you.
I was saying, I'm not.
Like
I said, mine is not that.
He can once in a while she needs some money
Mine
for
is
bills.
not that superficial. Mine is not that superficial as far as looks. I kind of been out of the look phase for like a while. Mine's is always just either about finances or just about status, like where we are together. Because at the end of the day, I always not like how we had this conversation before where I said growing up black. Remember that growing up black episode that we did, and I said we are never taught that we could be extraordinary. Like, so in my life, I've never envisioned myself just being like the soccer dad. I never saw, I'm not gonna lie to you, never saw that for myself. I always just saw myself just being a high adrenaline, like a high, not even just like with a lot of people, but just like working, having a nice sharp place. It wasn't like a messy house with kids involved. I wasn't like, oh my God, I can't wait to take my boys to go do football and my daughters to do cheerleading. I never been that type of person, so I've always been like, damn, so I might need somebody that feel the same way. Like, all right, you know, you want to go get you a nice little 2-seater, just like I want a 2-seater because there's no room for anybody else. You know what I mean? I like those kind of thoughts, but that's personal for me. That was just what I saw for myself. There's a lot of guys out there that just could not wait to have daughters or could not wait to have sons so they could do, you know, all the stuff that they thought was cool, video games and all the, you know, the good stuff. Nothing wrong with it. I applaud it. I go to the weddings. I'm going to a wedding tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I feel like it's good that kind of stuff happens, but it's just that you have to know what works for you as well, though, because you don't want to hurt somebody in the process by trying to make fetch happen, I can say. Like, we can actually try to make that happen. You be sitting here like, oh, I know you want somebody, and that's sometimes it's out of sheer boredom. Like, you want somebody, and then next, you know, as soon as they get there, you like, you gotta go.
I have a question. So, Ian, I have a question. So, when you think of this kind of lifestyle, do you envision a person who already has these things, or a person who has certain character traits that would, you know, make them the type of person who's able to acquire those things?
So when I envisioned it, it was always me meeting somebody who was in the same place. So that's why I always thought about self-evaluation and self-work first. So I always say you are going to match who you are once you build up who you are. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted better for myself. So that was even in the situation of separating myself from certain things and say, all right, I know that this is hindering who I'm trying to become. So I want myself to be at this particular level. So I want, once I get there, that person is already there in that same position as me. That was my fingers crossed moment. Like, hopefully, you know, this could be somebody that had the same story as me. We could have had the same rise. We could have, it's not somebody that had to come from it or somebody that this was already betrothed upon you. But this is, I wanted it to be, you know, it could be. But that's just what I thought. That was my vision.
Can I answer that question as well? The second part that you said, where it's like the person might be like on that trajectory to like get whatever like they're like hoping for, but I was like, nah. Like there was like years where it was like, I don't care about like what you're about to do. You're in school to do, like, no, what are you doing now? Like what's going on right now? Like I don't. Well, in 2 years after I finished this, like I was strictly against that. Like I wanted to know, like, what can you provide? What can you do now? Like, what?
That's how I feel, though. That's what I'm saying. Because that's my problem. Because a lot of times you see that story happening so much where people are, I am going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then 2 years after your marriage, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that 5 years into your marriage. Oh, I'm still working on getting this done. But as long as we have the love in between us, that's all that matters. And sometimes it's like that love that kind of cripples us a little bit because we kind of get used to coming home to this person every night. We have a routine and it stops everything you were ever working on. Like everything that you ever wanted for yourself. I had a conversation with my mom and my mom got so backtracked over the years because of love and people that she's fallen in love with. Like she got married and her husband went to college. She dropped out to go take care of 2 kids and then never went back. And I said, well, Mom, what happened? Well, I had the 2 kids. So he was able to go and it was just fuck whatever you wanted to do. Like that's it. And that's what she said. Like, yeah, I had 2 kids.
You spend all your day like helping someone else pursue their dream instead of like focusing on theirs.
That's
so
why
especially when somebody's like, oh, well, no, in 2 years, like I'll have like my nursing degree, so you're like spending your efforts, your like time
helping to pay for it, helping them to study, helping them to get to class, buying their scrubs, buying all of that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, babe, I think I'll take a year off. I'll take a year off because you know what?
Song, when the new CD about just like basically taking care of the nigga just because you like so head over heels. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, about that and having even
no,
guys.
I'm not saying like a person who don't got nothing. I mean, at this point, I think we all 30 years close to it. So I mean, like at this point,
you got 3 years, bro.
I mean, close 27, close enough. 27, 30, tomato, tomato.
When I was 27, I was like, you might as well call me.
Basically, yeah, right?
Same exact thing.
Exactly, but just like at this point in life, I just feel like everybody should have something going on. Like I can't do a person who ain't got nothing popping. Where it's just like, no level of self-sufficiency, no nothing. Like, I can't deal with that. But I'm just saying, just like in terms of, I think a lot of times it's like people just want to just like kind of get something they didn't put in on, because even this person who like did all of this stuff to build this lifestyle, but you ain't putting in on nothing.
You feel
so it's a certain level of respect. It's like a certain level of respect that they don't have for you because you ain't putting in on nothing.
You
so at the end of the day,
you bragging everything that she got. Yo, my girl do this. My girl make
But
this.
that's why I said. That's why I always said it's always about self betterment. Like you bettering yourself first and getting your own shit established. A lot of people really will get into a relationship all fucked up. I'm not saying that we don't go into a relationship with baggage. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's about what you bring to the table already. Because at the end of the day, if for instance, if you meet somebody able to purchase a home, but you're not in a position to purchase a home. So now they feel obligated to purchase the home because they're ready to purchase a home. But then now you're just like you said, you can't have in on this because this is, the situation, or now they feel obligated because we're in a relationship. So now you have to get in on it. So that's what I mean. Like if I'm able to provide to this, you'll be able to provide for this. If I'm able to have a car, you have a car.
So just match me, basically.
That's it, almost. Oh yeah, I mean not almost, yeah, absolutely. Just match it. But it's not like, because I think just having a vision of it is not enough. And it's not enough.
I always say, like, you can talk about it all day, but you gotta show me, like, well, yes, I'm about to do this.
I get where you're coming from.
But what are you doing to
get
it? Like, show me what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about a person who ain't got nothing,
though.
but I'm talking about, like, all right, let's say you meet the guy, he's a bank teller, all right, but he in school to get his MBA.
No, that's a good thing.
That's what I'm saying. But exactly, but what I'm saying is, suppose I'm a person who already got a master's, but I'm like, well, I got mine. Well, prove to me you're gonna get yours.
Well, and then
But see, here's the
what
the very difference is though. Like a bank teller is not like a bad job. That's like it's not like the best job in the bank or whatever. But that's still a moment for you to advance within the bank or get a finance degree or something because you have that experience behind you. But I'm talking about like if you're saying, oh, I'm in nursing school. I'm in nursing school, but you work at like
CNA. I'm not saying that.
I'm on Nuggets right now.
Yeah, but I'm on Nuggets. But I plan to go to nursing school in the fall. Oh, you're my daughter because she has a vision. She has a dream. She wants to go to nursing school in the fall.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that just in the aspect. That's what I'm saying. Do you want a person who's already the branch manager, or are you gonna deal with the bank teller that's in school?
That's true.
What I'm saying. So it's just like one of them things where it's just like. People just want to put in on something. Well, they just want to be a part of something they didn't put in on. So it's like when you meet the guy where, I mean, if they already shown you they're not a bum, they got everything they need, they're working towards something. Okay, cool, I could deal with it. Where it's like, okay, cool, like I could ride with you. Do somebody where you just like sitting in the house playing a PS5 all day, like, man, I'm waiting for my man uncle to get us in the airport. I can't entertain that person.
But you know what, that goes by conversation too. Because that's just like this. If you know, like common sense will tell you, if you want to be like a nurse, you wouldn't be sitting here like, oh yeah, I want to be a nurse and I plan to go to school, but I'm on fries. No, you'd be like, all right, I volunteer at the hospital. It's all about your track of it. Like, so you'll already know that somebody, if you want to be a nurse, I know you'd be working in the health field. You ain't gonna be sitting around here just waiting tables just because you think that it's that. I understand why people, were stripping and paid for college and stuff. That's something different. But when you sitting there and you like, well, I'm definitely on fries, but I plan to go be an aeronautical engineer. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, all right. Well, why are you not like working at volunteering at NASA or doing some type of working at the Museum of the Natural Sciences or something, or at the Franklin Institute? Why are you so branched away? And that's where the conversation is, where you don't even know where you know what you want to be, but you ain't even nowhere in that zone, baby girl. Or,
people get on me about that all the time because it's like when I tell my friends, it's just like, all right, I just want somebody who could like match me or got something going on. That's my preference because I worked really hard for everything that I had. Like I'm not just like no regular person who just trying to do it. You just had to do what you were supposed to do. I'm sure some people are like, all you really had to do.
That's what I was trying to get out of Sierra. Because Sierra knows. Because she has that kind of thing too, where I gotta watch my back because I'm not just anybody.
I know. Like that, but it's one of those things where it's like when you work really, really hard for stuff, it means a lot more to you. So you know what I'm saying? You don't just want to deal with somebody who just want to show up and be like, oh, this is a nice cozy house.
Exactly.
Where it's like, wait a minute. Like,
not even caring about how you got it, not asking no questions, just like living in the moment. Like, no, like, so what are you about to do? Like,
and that's my thing. But people make me seem like I'm just so crazy where it's just like, I mean, not saying like a person got to like have everything. Because I mean, a lot of the things we place value on, they really don't have value. They're just tools for you to get what you need to get. So like the degrees, they're all tools. It's not really who you are. It's what you do to make a living. But ultimately, it's like I can't talk with somebody who like don't have nothing popping. Where you ain't got, I gotta create a life for you. Where I gotta go outside, pick you up off the park bench, dust you off, and help you become a forklift operator. I can't do
filled out
that.
your application.
Yeah, I put out your application.
And guess what?
like,
We all have all these preferences out here, and y'all gotta out there check y'all preferences and see if it's good enough for y'all. I appreciated y'all coming through for the season finale.
Yes, sir.
Y'all good?
Yes.
So we coming for season 3, 2022. We gonna see y'all then. Don't forget we got some other stuff coming up. Check out the merchandise on the website at everybody'stalkingshow.com. Don't forget about the page. Follow us on IG and Facebook at Everybody Talking Show. On Twitter at ETAI Show. And then what else I got? Oh, Everybody's Talking About It. Let's Zoom on it is coming back. So get on us and we'll see you then. Thanks again for tuning in.